Josh with Combat Sports Today. I'm joined with the Lone Star Kid, Landry Ward. Congratulations on that big first round knockout at LFA 207 over Bryce Logan. He was a former LFA champ and a Bellator vet. Just kind of walk us through that huge knockout because, you knocked him off his feet, literally.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it's been a long time coming. I've been a year out of competition, sitting off 2 losses, and almost let it eat at me too much, but kept my head straight, stayed in the gym, stayed working, took the time I needed after my last fight, and gathered myself and got myself ready to go put on the performance I did last Friday.
On your Instagram, it looked like you were like drilling that punch you actually hit him with. So is that something, one of your best punches, or just something you just constantly drill that you just see that punch anytime it happens?
And I have a good right hand. I got good timing and good accuracy. I land my right hand a lot. I think it was just, I dropped a few fights ago, dropped in the guy with my right hand as well. Just going down to 45, I was taking a little too much out of myself, so wasn't able to put him away. But I know I have power in my punch. I know I have pop in my punches, and not killing myself to get down to 45 and fighting at a weight class that I feel good at, my body feels good at. Being back at 55, I know I carry that power, and I was able to show it.
So for sure, you're definitely closing the door at 45. You're 100% 55 now.
Yeah, 45's done. That was way too much. I definitely noticed. I noticed it in a few fights that I was taking too much out of myself, but I was like an in-between weight for 45 and 55, and I could make 45, but obviously definitely was not making it very healthily. So back at the weight class I should have been at the whole time, but live and learn, and now we're back at 55 and we're making a run.
Kind of spinning off of that, you are pretty active. I was looking at the Tapology, and around 2021, 2022, you were with Combate Global. I think you're doing like 3 fights a year. Is that something you're aiming to get back to now that you're at 155? You said the cut isn't that bad, so are you able to be more active to get 3 fights in this year? Is that what you're kind of looking for?
Yeah, definitely gonna sit down with my coaches, my management, see what's next. After a finish like that against the caliber of opponent that I fought, that guy, he's got 8 losses, but all 8 of them are to good fighters, to former UFC fighters or high-level Bellator fighters, and nobody's been able to do that to him. So I think this puts me on the doorstep to possibly get a short notice call up, or maybe even contender. So we'll sit down, see what's next, and if I got to take another fight in LFA, I'll do that. But we'll weigh out our options. But yeah, I definitely want to stay active. That year out of competition is definitely eating at me.
You were in there a minute, so that probably didn't really scratch or satisfy that itch that you have. That competition, fighting itch, being the veteran that you are. And you said you wanted to stay active, and LFA, being in LFA, are you able to take like a karate combat fight? How does that kind of work with LFA?
Yeah, so I would definitely. That was just a single fight contract with them. So yeah, I can take whatever fight comes up, but the goal is not to be a karate combat champ or a bare knuckle champ or anything. The goal is to be a UFC champ. So I'm gonna stay fighting MMA. I'm on the doorstep, one good finish away from for sure getting that call up. The goal is UFC, so I'm gonna stay in MMA and keep working, keep getting the wins and finishes here, and see me in the big show soon.
If you do fight in LFA again, it definitely should be for a title, if anything, given, just your run and your record and, putting people away. Is that something that, is kind of, I know you said, UFC is the end goal, but is that something that you'd kind of like to have as a feather in the cap is, the LFA belt or, any regional belt in going to the UFC? Words are hard today, excuse me.
No, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's not like I'm not searching for a regional title. Like I just said, the UFC title is the main focus. regional title would be cool to have, but it's not something you know, to like hang the hat on. So open to whatever fights there. Sit down, talk with the matchmakers, talk with my management and coaches, and you know, just check out what's next. But wouldn't hang my hat on the title. But if that's what's next, that's what's next.
Talking with your coaches and everything, you had a UFC Hall of Famer, I believe he was in your corner your last fight, Robbie Lawler. Just kind of talk about how's that having him in your corner, somebody that, is a UFC legend and getting that advice from him and all those other guys down there at Kill Cliff.
Yeah, I mean, just being in that room day in and day out, you're around nothing but high level guys who have been at the top of the sport for a long time. And for Robbie specifically to come and want to corner me or be open to cornering me, that means a lot. That means I'm doing things right and I'm on the right path. And if he's willing to take the time out of his day, being who he is, to come corner me, I know I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right things. And yeah, the other coaches in my corner, I had Logan and Sean Soriano. Those are other high level guys who are willing to put their time into me and invest and coming and helping me out. Just shows I'm on the right path. I'm surrounded by the right people, and you know, good things are coming. Being in that room at Killcliff and being with those guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely speaks volumes to, what they think of, coming out to, corner, like you said and spoke about. And, earlier, you kind of spoke on, being on that 2-fight losing streak. And that was the first losing streak of your career. You did have one loss prior, but before that, you were on a 3-fight win streak, a 4-fight win streak. How do you kind of overcome those like career setbacks? Do you kind of lean on those guys at Killcliff a little more during, those hard times to kind of get back in to, the swing of things? Because, everybody has bad days at work, but unfortunately, when you guys have a bad day at work, it's your body's on the line, and also a lot of thousands of people are watching. So, so you guys have a bad day compared, me having a bad day. My day job's a little different. So how do you kind of overcome those career setbacks, kind of like that?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I haven't lost back-to-back competition since I was in high school football, and the ate at losing back then ate at me. Been a competitor since I was a kid, and losing sucks, and especially going on that 2-fight skid. You know, you feel like, especially in this sport where losses can make or break you and make or break a career, you can let it eat at you, and it was definitely eating at me a little bit. And yeah, I was blessed to be able to lean on a great group of guys at Killcliff and my coaches who stuck with me, told me I'm doing the right things. And also, you know, my support system, my family and my girlfriend, they were riding with me, just let me know, keep my head up. And honestly, you know, I've never been a really religious guy, and I've had a very tough past like 2 years with not just the losses, but things happening in life in general. And yeah, my girl led me to God, actually, funny enough. And we've been going to church a lot. And honestly, I found a lot of peace in that. I put so much of my identity in fighting and being an athlete, and just realizing that, you know, that's just what I do. It's not particular who I am. I don't have to let that define everything in my life. And yeah, say that, just all those things, and leading me to peace, knowing just stay the course, stay true to who I am, and you know, we'll come out on the other side. And we did. And now we got to keep it rolling.
You mentioned, your significant other. There's nothing like having, a great woman behind you. Sometimes they can, most of the time, at least in my experience as well, they kind of push you to the better and right things in life. I feel like, more of the women in our life kind of need a shout out. So shout out to the women in all of our lives, whether, it's your significant other, your mom, or whoever,
Yeah, I definitely have two. Funny enough, they're in the next room over. I got two great women in my life, my mom and my girlfriend. And yeah, just having them with me, having them supporting me, definitely got me out of that dark mindset that I was in, coming off these two losses and just going through things in life in general. So I'm blessed, and I'm happy to have them in my corner for sure.
Of like some fighting and outside of fighting things. Your celebration that's from after your KO, that was from a Grizzlies player. Are you a big basketball fan? Kind of
Uh,
talk about that celebration there.
no, yeah, I'm a sports fan. I like all sports, and I just say that John Morant celebration is funny. You know, he's gotten fined so many times for doing the like gun things. And then he did the grenade one. And funny enough, I sent somebody on X or Twitter, they put this man has upgraded his celebration. And I thought it was a funny video. So I sent it to a group chat. And one of my friends in the group chat was like, I bet you won't do that after you knock this guy out. And, you know, he said that. And I was like, all right, it's got to happen now. So did it. And the celebration came out clean.
Yeah. So is that something you're thinking about? Keeping for just keeping on hand for the next knockout. Just keeping that same. So I mean, it's a good one. I mean, I thought you pulled it off great. Just saying.
No, I appreciate that. No, it came out smoother on the video than I thought it did in my head, thankfully. But no, it's probably not something I'll keep in. But it ended up working out even more perfectly because it was in enemy territory, you know, in his hometown. I was getting booed on the walkout. I got booed after I knocked him out. Watching it back, I was like, that's funny how that worked out.
Yeah. Some things just write theirself. That's just one of those moments in life that wrote itself.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And are we ever going to see the return of the mullet, or is the mullet gone for good?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I might bring it back, but we'll see. You know, funny enough, after the last fight that I lost, I cut it off, and I was like, it's all business now. The party has to go. So it's been strictly business since then, and we'll see if we bring the party back, but maybe not. I don't know. It's open ended.
I mean, you could pull off or try to pull off, the skullet maybe. I don't know if you're brave enough to try that one, or if your girl was okay with that. I mean, seemed to be okay with the mullet. Mine was threatened. If I tried, I threatened to grow it out, or I suggested I was going to. Like, yeah, you're gonna wake up with a shaved head. So, I mean, skullet could be next.
Yeah, she was cool with the mullet. She knew it was on brand. She understands branding and all that. She knew the mullet's on brand for who I am and my brand in general. But the skullet, that might be a little too far. She might pack my bags on that one.
And speaking of branding and anything, when are you gonna get the cowboy hat sponsor?
Man, I'm trying to. And I don't know if you saw what I posted yesterday. Put my Sean Soriano in my corner. He put the hat on me backwards and had the American Hat Co. logo on it showing. So I'm trying to. Yeah, I've talked to American Hat Co. Some people that work for them, trying to work on that. They're a great cowboy hat company, and I'm a cowboy myself. I think it's only fitting and it's only right, and I think that partnership will happen in due time.
Well, I'm gonna say I checked them out just based on your post. I was curious about the hat, so I mean, I may purchase one. So I mean, they may have one purchase based off of you. So if that helps you get that sponsorship, and you're always gonna have to rock it backwards, I guess. 'Cause that's where the logo is. You have to get it on TV.
I know I had to get the airtime, but I'm gonna have to clip this that you said you'll buy one and send it to him.
Kind of more off of that, I've seen a couple of videos or one video of a cooking with the kids series. That is something you're going to continue.
I might. I don't know. I was funny enough in my head. I was saying because I cook steak all the time. Like steak and chicken are two things I cook all the time. I was thinking it might be funny if I just do cooking with a kid, just cook steak every single time, just do it the same thing every single time. But I don't know. I like to cook. I cook all my own food, do my own meal prep. So we'll see. Maybe I don't mind getting in the kitchen.
I mean that's pretty awesome. You do all your own cooking and meal prep. I'm sure you probably got a sponsor for that or something of the sort.
Well, you know what? A company I would love to sponsor with. We're talking about steak. There's this company here that I always get my steak from. Become good friends with them called Ranchers Reserve. They have a ranch here in Okeechobee, Florida, around here. Man, that steak, So good. I don't know where you're at, but if you want to get some shit, check out Rancher's Reserve. Yeah, that stuff's awesome. So we'll work on that.
And I've seen, that specific steak thing, so I figured you were sponsored by them, but
No, not yet. No,
not yet.
those are my guys. They're good people, and just it's high quality steak. It's so good. So I keep going back.
So hopefully this video helps you get the hat sponsor and the steak sponsor.
Let's go. I appreciate the help.
Kind of telling end off of that. Do you have any current sponsors, anybody in particular you kind of want to give a shout out to?
I mean, well, we're going off the steak. So one guy, what I cook all my food with, I drink it every morning. Palm Beach salt. He harvests his own salt right here off Palm Beach where I live, and high quality salt. I mean, it tastes good. It's the best. Honestly, if you go from eating regular table salt to eating this, you can taste the difference. And shout out Palm Beach Salt. They do sponsor me, and that's good stuff. A couple of my other sponsors, Plumbers Near Me here in South Florida, and Upright Roofing. Then my cousin who sponsors me has a shop called Cowboy Joe's Discount City. He's in Texas. He wants some great deals on some stuff, electronics to jewelry, all that good stuff. Check him out.
Man, well, I appreciate your time and definitely look forward to seeing you back in the cage, hopefully sooner rather than later, and definitely, hopefully it's in the UFC or the Contender Series on the way to the UFC.
Hey, we'll see. We're on the doorstep. We'll see what call comes. But I
Yes, sir.
appreciate the support. I'm looking forward to putting on more memorable performances.